Hello there and welcome to Libero Magazine. My name is Robin Baker and it is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. It is NEDA Week 2017. And in case you are like, well, what the heck is NEDA Week? NEDA Week is the week where we build awareness for eating disorder, anyone that needs help with it, people that aren't educated about eating disorders. It's a time to build up knowledge about it, teach people what eating disorders are, erase the stigma, share statistics about eating disorders, and all of that kind of stuff. It also is a time when the National Eating Disorder Association promotes getting screened for an eating disorder. So if you think you might be struggling with an eating disorder, they have a wonderful screening tool on their website that you can always go check out and get yourself screened in 5 minutes. And it's someplace you can also go to get resources, a ton of great resources. Libero Magazine is also a wonderful place to get resources. So especially if you're struggling, if you're in the newer phases of recovery, we have a ton of blog pieces, a ton of videos that is great for eating disorder recovery. So today I really wanted to talk about one of the questions I get asked across the board, hands down, the most often is, how do I help someone that is struggling with an eating disorder? And I can tell you this is an extremely tricky topic. And the one thing I want to say before I share some suggestions is that they are just that. They are suggestions. They are things that you might want to try. And because everyone's eating disorder presents itself so differently and everyone's personality is so different, I can't say, whether this is going to be helpful or not, but I can say it will not be harmful, right? There are so many things we can do that are harmful for those that are struggling with an eating disorder. These suggestions are really a great way to go about talking to someone that is struggling, or you think might be struggling, without causing any harm and without triggering them. So the very first thing you really need to remember when it comes to trying to help someone that you think might be struggling with an eating disorder or is struggling with an eating disorder is that you are not going to fix them. You are not going to fix them. It is so important to remember that you are not a professional, that you are not a doctor, that you don't, maybe you are a doctor, but you were not hired by them to recover. You are not their psychologist, their therapist, their dietitian. And if you are, you're meeting with them in an office and it's not like a casual setting, like you're not in a Starbucks chatting about things. That you are not a professional, you are not their doctor, you are there to support them. You will not fix them, you cannot save them. Eating disorders are a serious mental health issue. They're a mental illness. And just like if someone said, hey, I think I might be struggling with cancer, you're not going to go say, hey, let me go grab my, machine and we'll do some chemo on you. You cannot do that. Right? You're not a doctor. Same thing applies to someone struggling with an eating disorder. You cannot fix them. So that's something to really keep in mind, that this is not your job to save them and that you cannot save them because you don't have the background, the education, or the tools to do such. So the second thing you want to remember is to stay away from any talk of their appearance, any talk about their weight, the way they look, their clothes, anything dealing with the way they appear or their appearance is off topic, right? Is not important to helping them. The thing is that the eating disorder itself, right, it thinks that appearance is the most important thing about them. So by talking about, hey, I'm worried about you because you don't look right or something looks wrong, and mentioning their appearance to validate why you're concerned, only goes to feed into the eating disorder and strengthens it, because it confirms and it reaffirms that appearance is one of the most important things about the person. So please stay away from mentioning anything about the way they look. Rather, ask about how they feel. How are you feeling? Really validates that, oh, she's really concerned about how I feel. She must be worried that I'm not feeling right. And that's more important than the way I look. It doesn't validate the eating disorder. Go into how they're feeling, how they're thinking, what they're doing, rather than focusing on appearance. The next thing and third thing is to listen openly without judgment. Be empathetic. So Listening, right? I know this is a totally old saying, but God made us with 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? We need to listen more instead of speaking so much. So give them that space, allow them to speak, and listen openly. Do not judge their actions if they share something with you that's, maybe you feel is a little bit bad or whatever you're thinking. Do not put any judgment on what they're doing. Also validate their feelings, okay? So making sure that they understand that, what they're going through is not all in their head. It's a totally valid thing that they're feeling. The fourth thing you could possibly do to help somebody is to encourage them to seek out professional help. So if you're speaking to someone that really is in the beginning stages of recovery and you know that you cannot fix them, you're not a doctor, that is not your profession, that is not your forte, right? That you can help them seek out recovery help. You can help them seek out professional help. Maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's going to a psychologist, maybe it's going to day treatment or even inpatient treatment. The thing is that, there's different levels of care for wherever you're at when you're struggling with an eating disorder. But the most important thing is that you reach out and get help before it gets really, really, really tough to kind of dig yourself out. So really, really encourage them to seek out that professional help. Say, what you're talking about, I think someone else might be able to help better than me. I wish I could help, but I can't. Can I help you find someone that might help you better? Or maybe you have a referral. Maybe you know someone else that's struggled with an eating disorder and you can refer them to somebody. Either way, encourage them to get that professional help. So I mentioned this one before. This is number 5 on the list. And I mentioned this one before, but to really validate their feelings, making sure they feel heard. So a really good way of doing that is repeating back what the person has said to you. If the person says, I'm really, really scared to eat. I'm really scared about, if I get fat and blah, 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 or I'm really scared of whatever, say, I hear that you're really scared of blah, 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 blah. Don't try to fix it. Just let them know that you heard them, that they were heard, and that you don't go right into Mr. Fix-It mode of, oh, you know what, you really shouldn't worry about that, or, I know how you should do this, you should do that. Because really, you don't know how to fix them. And like I said, you can't fix them. So validate what they're feeling, because most importantly, and I know this especially from my children, just to let them know that you've heard them and that they're not being ignored and that you understand what they're saying can make a huge difference in your relationship and the possibility of them opening up to you even more, which can really help them in the long run. So number 6 on suggestion list is to avoid talking about food. And I can tell you this is a biggie, right? Because the one thing we focus on if we're trying to help somebody is usually, the food aspect, because that's the behavior we see. That's what we see them doing, their behavior around food. We don't really see what's going on internally, and we don't know really what the eating disorder is really all about. And in case you haven't heard the saying, eating disorders are not about the food. There's a whole bunch of other things that are going on. Eating and the food is just the behavior that is coming out and that they're using in order to cope with whatever's going on. So speaking about the food really doesn't address the underlying problem. So if, for example, and I used to hear this all the time when I was in my anorexia, is why don't you just eat? Just eat. Just eat a burger. Just do that, If it was that easy, I would have done that already. It really isn't that easy. And to put just in front of it really simplifies my problem and makes it like it's not a big deal. It's like, oh, why don't you just recover from cancer? Why don't you just get rid of it? Why don't you just change the blood cells or whatever you have to do to get rid of that cancer? Can't you just do that? We don't talk to someone with cancer that way, and we shouldn't talk to someone that's struggling with an eating disorder in that way either. So get your focus off the food and focus on the feelings. And last, but certainly not the least, is ask them how you can help. ask. Just say, hey, can I help you with anything? Even if you're not even talking about the eating disorder, let them know that you are there to help them and that you want to offer your help. And you're not going to say how you're going to help. You want them to tell you. And it's a good exercise for them to practice using their voice in the first place. So asking how you can help someone that's struggling is huge. Maybe they'll say, I don't know, I don't need your help. That's fine, as long as they know you're there. Having that knowledge that someone's even there, willing to help them, willing to sit with them, willing to be present with them, goes a long way. I can tell you the people that were in my life when I was struggling so much and I just knew were there, irregardless if I asked them for help or not, and irregardless if, I told them how they could help, because they would ask me many times and I usually would say, there's nothing you can do, but knowing that they were there made a huge difference in not only my recovery, but also in my life now, because they're still in my life and they're a huge part of my friendships, and they're just amazing people. And that is it. 7 suggestions on how you can help someone that you think might be struggling with an eating disorder, or you already know is struggling with an eating disorder. And there's a bunch of other suggestions. These are the ones that really struck home with me and that really made a difference in my recovery. So if you have any other tips or any other suggestions for someone that is asking, how do I help someone that's struggling with an eating disorder, or how do I help someone that I think might be struggling with an eating disorder? If you have any suggestions, I encourage you to share them in the comments below, because we can never get enough of these, because there's so many ways we can help someone that's struggling, and I know I didn't list them all. So if you have any suggestions, please share them with us in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Nita Week 2017. And if you are so inclined, please donate to Libero Magazine, because this magazine helps so many people in need, not only with eating disorders, but all sorts of different mental illnesses. And we need your donations to keep this magazine going. So thank you so much for watching. Go visit Libero Magazine, donate, and don't forget to follow us. Have a great Nita Week 2017, and I will catch you next time. Bye.